Hello. Today we'll study the topic 2 of chapter 8, flow of liquid. So here, firstly, we'll go through the some terms which are important for this topic, flow of liquid. Ideal liquid. An ideal liquid has a zero compressibility and the zero viscosity. What actually, we know the liquid, we know the fluid, liquid and pressure and all, but what actually the ideal liquid means? So ideal liquid is having zero compressibility and zero viscosity. Streamlined flow. Streamlined flow is if a liquid in a parallel layer such that there is no disruption or intermixing of the layer at a given point, the velocity of each liquid particle passing by the remains constant with time is known as a streamlined flow. Also, the turbulent flow. In a turbulent flow, liquid flowing undergoes regular fluctuation or two or more layers intermingle. In the turbulent flow, the speed of the liquid at the point continuously changes. Here, the thing is that the speed of the liquid at a point is being continuously changes in both with respect to magnitude and the direction. This is what turbulent flow means. Critical velocity. The critical velocity of a liquid is a limiting value up to which the flow is streamlined and above which the flow becomes turbulent. We know the streamlined flow, we know the turbulent flow, and with both this, we get the critical velocity. The critical velocity is nothing but a liquid, it's a velocity of a liquid limiting value up to which flow is streamlined and above which the flow becomes turbulent. Equation representing is Vc R upon rho and d, where Vc is the critical velocity, Reynolds number, it's viscosity of the velocity, and d is the diameter of the tube. Now the Reynolds number. Reynolds number, we have studied the Reynolds number, but what is it? So the Reynolds number is used to determine whether a flow is in the laminar or the turbulent flow. It is used to determine whether the fluid is the laminar or the turbulent flow. It is assumed that the Reynolds number has less than or equals to 2000 indicates a streamlined laminar flow, and Reynolds number is greater than 2000 indicates the turbulent flow. This is already pre-decided that the particular 2000 Reynolds number less than or equals to 2000 indicates the streamlined flow, and more than or greater than 2000 indicates the turbulent flow. Now, viscosity. So, viscosity is the property of a liquid via which it opposes the relative motion between its adjacent layer. This is what viscosity means. Coefficient of viscosity. So, coefficient of viscosity of a liquid is defined as the viscous force per unit area and a contact between the two layers having a unit velocity gradient between them. So, express by coefficient of viscosity is equals to F upon A delta Vx upon delta Z, where F is the force acting between the two layers of the liquid flowing in the streamline motion. A is the contact area, delta Vx upon delta Z is the velocity gradient, and this is the coefficient velocity. And dimensional formula for the coefficient velocity will be mL inverse and T minus 1. So, this is about the viscosity. Also, the SI unit will be kg per meter second, and 1 poise is equals to 1 upon 10, 1 kg per meter per second. Now, moving to the next, dependence of a coefficient of viscosity. So, coefficient of viscosity depends solely upon the nature of fluid. Whatever the nature of fluid is, it will result in the coefficient of viscosity. Dependency of viscosity depends on temperature, pressure, density. So, viscosity depends on temperature. Viscosity of the liquid decreases sharply with the increase of temperature, and this becomes zero at a boiling point. Viscosity of the gas increases with the rise of temperature. Pressure, viscosity of the liquid generally increases with the increase of pressure. Once the pressure increasing, viscosity will also gradually increase. An exception is water. Viscosity of the gas is almost independent change of pressure. Density. Viscosity of the liquid increases with the increase of density. Here also, when the density is increasing, viscosity is increasing. Viscosity of gas decreases with the increase of density. But for the gas state, when it decreases, it increases with the density. Now, the terminal velocity. When a sphere falls through a viscous fluid, its velocity increases until it reaches a velocity is known as the terminal velocity. At this velocity, the friction drag due to the viscous forces is balanced by the gravitational force and the viscosity becomes constant. Then V is equals to 2r square upon 9. Then rho minus sigma g and eta just continues which is coefficient of viscosity. So this is the terminal velocity mathematical expression. Now Stokes' law. Stokes' law, according to the Stokes' law, the viscous drag force on a sphere of a radius r moving with the velocity v in a fluid of viscosity is proportional to the fluid velocities and the sphere's radius, which is f 6 pi coefficient of viscosity, and r, and then r, which is the radius, and v, which is the velocity. So this is the Stokes' law. Now, the Poisson's formula. It indicates the flow of a liquid per second. Rate of discharge Q depends on the pressure gradient and the radius of the narrow. So, the viscosity of the fluid will be Q pi PR square 8 coefficient of viscosity and L. Now, the principle of a continuity. This is the important topic. This principle state that when an incompressible and a non-viscous liquid flow in the streamline motion through a tube of a non-uniform free cross-section, the product of a area and the cross-section of the tube and the velocity of the fluid is the same at every point in the tube. Firstly, we'll have to consider a tube as a principle of continuity. So, when it simply state that when an incompressible and the non-viscous liquid flow in the streamline motion, through this tube, a non-uniform cross section, the product of area and the cross section of the tube and the velocity of the flow same point in the tube. So, A into V is equals to constant. A is the area of cross section and V is the velocity of flow. Now this is the principle of continuity. Now the pressure of the flowing liquid. If P is the pressure on an area A of a liquid and the fluid moves through a distance L due to this pressure, then the pressure of the fluid is equals to work done, which is equals to force into distance, then pressure into area into distance, which is equals to P into A into L. So the pressure energy per unit volume will be P into A into L upon A by L, which is equals to P. This is the pressure energy of a flowing liquid. Same kinetic energy of the flowing liquid. So if a fluid of the mass m, and the volume is b, is moving with the velocity small v, then its kinetic energy will be half mv squared. So kinetic energy per unit volume of a fluid is half mv square upon capital V, which is the volume, which is equals to half mv and bracket and then v square. So it will be equals to half rho v square. So this is the kinetic energy of a flowing liquid. Potential energy of the flowing liquid. If a fluid of mass is m, volume is v, and height is h from the surface of the earth, then the potential energy will be equals to mg h. So the potential energy per unit volume of the fluid will be equals to mgh upon v, then m into v upon gh, which is equals to rho gh. This value is equals to rho, so it will be equals to rho gh. So just keep in mind that the kinetic energy of the flowing liquid will be half rho v square and the potential energy will be rho gh. So this is all about the kinetic energy of flowing liquid and the potential energy. Now, moving to the next, it's Bernoulli's theorem. This is also the important one. When an incompressible and the non-viscous fluid flows in a streamline motion from one place to another, then at every point of its path, the total energy per unit volume is constant. Here it is considering that when any flow is flowing, in a tube, but at that time or at every point of the path, the total energy of the per unit volume will remain constant. It means P plus half rho V square plus rho GH is equals to constant. This is only the total energy kinetic energy plus potential energy is equals to constant. This is what the Bernoulli's theorem means. Okay. Area is A1, pressure is P1 for the one side. For the another side, area is A2, pressure is V2, height is H1, H2, V1, V2 is the velocity. So this is what the Bernoulli's theorem means. Total energy will V equals to constant. Now, application of the Bernoulli's theorem. Bernoulli's theorem is applied in venturi meter shape of wings of aeroplane, Bunsen burner, atomizer, filter pump, and etc. Here in these places, Bernoulli's theorem uses generally. Also, Magnus effect. The movement of a spinning sphere in a fluid is in a curved path due to the pressure difference below and above to the sphere is known as Magnus effect. When any movement in the spinning sphere which is in the fluid in a curved path due to which the pressure difference below and above the sphere. Just the difference of pressure in above and below to the sphere, which is known as Magnus effect. Now, Torsell's theorem. So, the velocity of a efflux of a liquid from which orifice is equals to the velocity of the liquid aqueous in a falling freely from the free surface of the liquid up to the orifice. This is the Torsell's theorem, which is Torsell's theorem, which is V is equals to under root 2gh, where V is the velocity of the liquid, h is the velocity of from which the liquid is falling, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. So this is Torsell's theorem. Now, from the our content, whatever we have studied, from these we get some key formulas and the equations. So let's remind it. Critical velocity Vc will be equals to Re, then coefficient viscosity, and then rho, and then d. Viscosity of the liquid, Reynolds number, d is the diameter of the tube. So this is the formula for the critical velocity. Coefficient of viscosity, F upon A, delta Vx upon delta Z. Denotation explanation is over there. Stokes law, which is F is equals to 6 pi n beta R, and then V, which F is the viscosity of the liquid, R is the radius of a sphere, and the terminal velocity. Terminal velocity is V is equals to 2R square, and in bracket rho minus sigma G upon viscosity of liquid, and then here the denotations are there. So this is the terminal velocity. Poisson's ratio, Poisson's formula is Q is equals to pi PR raised to the power 4 and 8 eta, and then L, where Q is the liquid per second rate of the discharge, P upon L is the pressure gradient, L is the length of the narrow pipe, and R is the radius, and eta is the viscosity of a liquid. Now, principle of continuity. Principle of continuity is equals to A into V, which is where area of cross-sectional area of the tube and the velocity is equals to constant. The product of both will be equals to constant. Pressure energy of the flowing liquid is P into A into L. Pressure energy per unit volume will be P into A into L upon A into L, which is equals to P. P is the fluid pressure, A is the area, L is the distance moved by the fluid. Also, kinetic energy of the flowing liquid is equals to half mv squared. So, kinetic energy of the per unit volume is equals to half rho v square. This is the kinetic energy for the flowing liquid, and potential energy will be is equals to mgh for the normal liquid. And when we talk about the fluid or the per unit per volume of the fluid, then it will be rho gh. Moving to the next, Bernoulli's theorem, which is equals to P plus half rho v square. Total energy will remain constant. Denotation's explanation is there. Now the relation between the pressure, head velocity, head and the gravitational head of the flowing liquid. So this will be P upon rho g plus V square upon 2g plus h is equals to constant. Then P upon rho into g is equals to pressure head. Then V square upon 2g is equals to velocity head. There this particular term is equals to pressure head and this term is velocity head, and h is the gravitational head. So when the fluid is flow in the horizontal plate, so P upon rho g plus half rho V square is equals to constant. Then for the venturimeter, then it will be B1 A2 whole root of 2gh A1 square minus A2 square, and for the Q it will be A1 A2 2gh A1 square minus A2 square. V1 is the velocity of the flow liquid. A1 and A2 are the area of the cross section at two different points of the tube. H is the difference of the level of fluid in the vertical tubes. G is the acceleration due to the gravity, and Q is the volume of the water flowing per second. Now, last one is the Torsell's theorem, which is V is equals to the square root of 2gh, then T is equals to h minus h upon g, then x max is equals to h, where V is the velocity, h is the height from which the liquid is falling. It's a small h, small t is the time taken fall from the height edge to the small height edge, and then h minus h will be the height difference. X is equals to horizontal distance covered. X max is equals to the maximum horizontal distance covered. G is the acceleration due to the gravity. So this is the Torsell's theorem. Now, with the help of these formulas and all, we'll move forward with the 1 marks question now. Question is, a small rain droplets falling with the terminal velocity v. Terminal speed of the another droplet of the radius is the twice radius of the first droplet will be. So here V is equals to volume, V is equals to 2 upon A R square P minus sigma M 9. And V is the directly proportional to the R square. So V1 upon V2 and R1 upon R2 its whole square. Then it will be equals to 1 by 4. So here we get V2 is equals to 4V1. So it will be is equals to 4B, or means option D is the correct one. Now, after terminal velocity is reached, the acceleration of the body falling through the viscous fluid is terminal velocity is reached, the acceleration of the body at the point terminal velocity reached, at that time the acceleration of the body falling through from the viscous fluid will be 0. As it velocity is 0, then how the acceleration will go ahead? It will also be the 0. Now the terminal speed of the V for rainwater drop in the air is blanks, where with the radius of the droplet, eta is the coefficient of the viscosity for air and k is the constant. So we have read the terminal velocity V will be equals to kr square upon eta. Bernoulli's theorem is based upon the conservation of energy. Energy is constant, so obviously option B is the correct one. Also, there are some major other questions. What are the properties of an ideal liquid? Perfectly incompressible and the non-viscous. Can two streamline force in the flowing liquid cross other? No. What is the mean of the critical velocity liquid? So, limiting velocity below which the flow is streamlined above which the flow is turbulent. This is what the critical velocity means. What is meant by the viscous force? Internal tangential force which opposes the relative motion between the adjacent layers of the fluid. This is what the viscous force means. Can Bernoulli theorem be used to describe the flow of water through the rapid air river? No, it is just simply based on conservation of energy. So these are some basic 1 marks questions. What is the unit and the dimension of the velocity gradient? So unit velocity gradient only its has inverse and time is only there. So the dimension formula will be T inverse. SI unit of coefficient of viscosity is Newton second per meter square. Hot liquid flows rapidly than the cold one. Why? Since the viscosity decreases with the rise of temperature, as the temperature is high, viscosity decreases. That's why it moves rapidly. What is the meaning of terminal velocity? It is the constant velocity acquired by the body when the frictional drag due to the viscous force just balanced by the gravitational force. This is the terminal velocity. Now, let's move forward with the 2 marks question. First question is, difference between the streamline and the turbulent flow of liquid. So we have studied two kind of flow, streamline and the turbulent. So what is the major difference between both of them? So a streamline orderly type of the flow in which liquid flows in the parallel layers. It's a disorderly type of flow. Turbulent is like anywhere, no any fixed shapes and the flow is there. Each particle of the liquid follows the path of its preceding particle and the traveled with the same velocity in the magnitude and direction. And the turbulent is motion of the particle liquid are different at the different points. Velocity is less than the critical velocity. Velocity is more than the critical velocity. It's a laminar flow, it's a non-laminar flow. So this is the difference between both the streamline and the turbulent flow of liquid. Now, water is flowing in liquid of a non-uniform cross-section. The velocity of the water at the point A is 4 times to the velocity of another point B. What is the diameter of the pipe A is compared to the point B. So, from the principle of continuity, A1, B1 is constant. So, here A1, B1 is equals to A2, V2, or we can write it D1 square, diameter square, V1 is equals to D2, V2 square. So, it just write it and then the form of ratio. So, here it will be D1 square, D2 square is equals to V2 upon B1, and D1 square, D2 square is equals to B2 upon 4B. So when we solve this, we get the ratio D1 is equals to 1 by 2 of D2. So the diameter of the pipe at the point A is the half of the point B. What is Reynolds number? We have already studied that the Reynolds number is used to determine whether the fluid is in the laminar or the turbulent flow. It is assumed that the Reynolds number is less than 2000 indicates the streamline flow or the laminar flow. When it is more than the 2000, it will be as considered as a turbulent flow. This is Reynolds number. Write the Bernoulli's equation pointing out the pressure and head and velocity head. So Bernoulli's equation is P upon rho g plus V square upon 2g plus h is equals to constant. Both the energies, potential and the kinetic. So P upon rho g is equals to pressure head and V square upon 2g will be equals to velocity head. Now, another is the wings of the aeroplane are rounded in the front and flattened at the back. Why so? So airplane wings are often curved on the top and flat on the bottom because of the Bernoulli's principle as its application. Okay. So Bernoulli's principle states that the faster moving air has the lower air pressure and slower moving air has the higher air pressure. So this is why it has been shaped like this, and due to the curved shape on the top of the wings, air is moving faster and on the top of the wings and wing than the bottom, and this means that airplane gains speed the air on the bottom which will have a higher pressure and push the wing, giving the plane lift. So this is the reason, just because for the air pressure it has been designed like this. Now, in a windstorm, generally tin sheets are blown off. Give reason. So the high speed wind is blowing over the tin shed and creates a low pressure according to the Bernoulli's principle. So the pressure below the roof remains equals to the atmospheric pressure, which is now on larger than the pressure above to the tin sheet. So due to the difference of pressure, the tin sheet experience an upward thrust and is lifted up. That's why it will move just in a upward direction just because of the difference in pressure. So once the tin sheet lifted up, it is blown off with the wind and then along with the direction. So these are some 2 marks question. After that, let's move forward with the 3 marks question. State and prove the Bernoulli's theorem. So we have already started, but let's revise it. When an incompressible and the non-viscous liquid flows in the streamline motion from one place to another, then every point if its path, the total energy of the per unit volume is the constant. Let us consider a fluid is incompressible and a non-viscous moving with the laminar flow through a non-uniform tube XY. So let the velocity of the pressure and the area of Vx, V1, P1, H1, and A1, and for same for the Y will be V2, P2, H2 and A2. So work done per second on the fluid entering will be X will be equals to P1, A1, B1, and same for the Y will be P2, A2 and V2. So the volume of the entering X will be A1 B1 and X is equals to A2 V2. So it will be equals to A1 B1 A2 V2 equals to M upon rho. So rho is the density of the fluid and net work done for the fluid will be P1 P2 of M upon rho, and the kinetic energy will be X half mv1 square, and for the same y will be half mv2 square. Increase in kinetic energy v2 square minus v1 square. Potential energy will be mgh1 mgh2, and the decrease will be equals to mgh1 minus mgh2. So the net increase energy will be is equals to P1 minus P2 m rho is equals to half mv2 square minus half mv1 square minus mgh1 mgh2. So P1 P2 m upon rho is equals to half m. We just keep the m outside, then v2 square minus v1 square, mg and mg common, h2 h1 minus h2. When we solve this, we get p plus a half of rho v square plus rho g h is equals to constant for both even, and for the another P2 quotient for both the side it will be is equals to constant. So here we have proof the Bernoulli's theorem. This is something important. Now moving to the next, using the Bernoulli's theorem, prove the following formula for an ideal fluid. This formula is there, we'll have to prove it. So we know the Bernoulli's theorem that P1 plus half rho V1 square plus GH1 kinetic and potential energy. So in the tube horizontal flow, then H1 minus H2 is equals to 0. So simplify this equation here, you get P1 minus Pt is equals to half rho V2 square minus half rho V1 square. So P1 minus P2 is equals to half rho V2 square minus V1 square. So this is what the Bernoulli's theorem is. And from the Bernoulli's theorem, we have proved the equation. Now, again, water stands at a height edge at the tank whose side walls are vertical and a hole is made is one of the walls depth below the water surface. Find at the distance from the foot wall does emerging stream and the water strike floor, and for what value h it raise. So figure is given. Here the velocity will be under root 2gh. After emerging the hole, it takes time t to the reach of the ground. Then applying formula h is equals to half gt square, or we can say h minus h, the difference between both the heights, is equals to half gt square. So t will be equals to under root 2 h minus h and g. So x is the horizontal is the distance first, which is equals to horizontal velocity into time. So x is equals to under root 2gh into 2h minus h upon g. So it will be x 2 and the whole square root of h and h minus h. So h will be the maximum when h minus h is the maximum. So when we differentiate it, we get h minus 2h is equals to 0. So h will be equals to h by 2. So when h is equals to h by 2, x will be maximum. So for the maximum condition of x, h will be equals to h by 2. What is viscous force? On what factor does it depend? Define the coefficient of viscosity. So viscous force is a tangential retarding force acting on the fluid element due to the friction moving fluid layers. So viscous force F is directly proportional. So area A is the constant contact of layers. So the velocity of the gradient delta Vx upon delta Z between the layers, F is directly proportional to A. So F is directly proportional to delta Vx upon delta Z. F is directly proportional to A. And then delta Vx upon delta Z will simplify it. Then F, when joint this, then F is equals to neta A V delta Vx upon delta Z, where eta is a proportionality constant and known as the coefficient of viscosity. Again, the same thing, the coefficient of viscosity will have to explain along with the mathematical expression and the terms explanation. Now let's move forward with the this 5 marks question. What is the meaning or principle of continuity? Earlier we have explained the Bernoulli's theorem and we have proved it as well. The same we'll have to do for the principle of continuity. We know the principle of continuity is A into B is equals to constant. So we'll take it for the two different sides, A1, V1, V1, A1, A2, V1, V2, A1, V1 will be the volume for X, while another for the volume of B, and rho is the density. So mass of the liquid entering X should be through Y. So rho A1, V1 is equals to rho A2, V2. we cancel out the row and we get A1 V1 is equals to A2 V2 or AV is equals to constant. This is what we'll have to prove for the continuity theorem. Now based on these, we'll have to solve few numericals. Here, water is flowing through the cylindrical pipe of the cross-section area is given, speed is given. If the diameter of the pipe is halved, then find the speed of the flow water throwing it. So A1, principle of continuity, we know A1 V1 is equals to A2 V2. So this A1 is equals to pi R1 square is equals to 0.9. Data which is already given, R1 is given, R2 is given, V1 is given, whatever data we have, we just write it down here, and then A2 is equals to pi R square. Enough circle, then we substitute the value, we get the value of A2 as well. So we'll just put this in this equation, and here we get the value of V2 is equals to 4 meter per second. Now another is water flowing through the horizontal pipe of a non-uniform cross-section and the speed of the water is 30 centimeter per second and the place where the pressure is 10 centimeter of the water. Calculate the speed of the water at the place where the pressure is half that the first place. So Bernoulli's theorem we know. Then this will be equals to, we simplify the equation, right? Given values, when we put all the values in the equation, here we have to find the value of V2. So V2 is equals to, we get 103.44 centimeter per second. So this was totally based on the Bernoulli's principle. Another is water is flowing on the horizontal pipe or the varying cross section at any two places. The diameter of the tube is 4 centimeter and the 2 centimeter. If the pressure difference between these two places is equals to 4.5 centimeter, then determine the rate of the flow in a liquid in the tube. So from the principle of continuity, A1 B1 A2 V2 is equals to pi R1 square and A2 is equals to pi R2 square. So area A1 equals to 4 pi, A2 is equals to pi. Then again we'll just put in the equation. We get this for the continuity principle. Now for the Bernoulli's theorem, we get B1 is equals to 24.25. So the rate of flow of water is equals to A1 into V1. So here we get 4 pi into 24.25. Then we get the value 304.56. Now a steel shot of a diameter 2 mm is dropped in the viscous liquid. Find the terminal speed of the slot. Density of the moving materials. Shot is 8.0 into 10 raised to the power 3. Density is given. So terminal velocity we'll have to find. V is equals to, we have the formula. We substitute the values in the formula. Here we get V is equals to 1.55 into centimeter per second square. So whatever the key formulas we have started, on the basis of that only, with the terminal velocity, Bernoulli's theorem, continuity theorem, we'll have to solve all these numericals. Let's move with the last one. An air bubble radius is 0.4 meter rise in the water. Determine the terminal speed of the bubble and density of the air is negligible. Coefficient of the viscosity of the water is given. So V is equals to, we know, 2 by 9 into R square P rho minus sigma upon eta, and then G. When we substitute the value, here we get V is equals to minus 0.348 meter per second. Whatever values we have given, with the help of this, we'll have to substitute the value in the formula and we get the answer. Also with what terminal velocity, see again the terminal velocity formula will have to use the data you will have, whatever is given, from that you just substitute the value in this particular formula and you get the value of terminal velocity, which is minus 0.348 meter per second. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for topic 3.